You know, one of the hardest moments in life is being rejected by someone who pulls away, especially when that same person once gave you a glimpse of hope. They were warm, caring, maybe even affectionate, and then suddenly, it's like a door slamming shut right in your face. And you're left standing there, hurt, confused, and asking yourself, did I do something wrong? Am I just not good enough? I want you to pause for a second, take a deep breath, and really hear this. Most of the time, their pulling away says nothing about your worth. It's a reflection of the battle going on inside of them. When someone with avoidant tendencies withdraws, they often expect you to react. They expect you to send long messages to explain yourself, to ask why, or to beg them to stay. Because that, in a twisted way, confirms their deepest belief. See? Intimacy always comes with pressure. If someone gets close to me, sooner or later I'll be buried under expectations, responsibilities, and demands I can't carry. But when you don't play into that, when you hold your dignity, when you don't chase, when you don't beg, you leave them no choice but to face the emptiness inside themselves. And I've witnessed this over and over again in the therapy room. One of my clients, I'll call her Emily, went through almost this exact situation. The man she was dating disappeared after just a few weeks of intimacy. Emily told me that every cell in her body was screaming to send one last message, to ask, do you even remember me? What did I do wrong? But instead of letting fear take the wheel, she chose silence. She poured that energy back into herself, taking long walks, spending time with friends, and journaling her emotions every night. And guess what happened? A few months later, that same man came back, confused, asking why she had never reached out. But by then, Emily was grounded enough to look him in the eye and say, I don't need to prove my worth by chasing after someone who chose to walk away. That story reminded me of a simple truth. Rejection is not failure. It's redirection. It brings you back to yourself, to the wounds that need healing, to the peace you truly deserve to give yourself. Now, I want you to picture this. You're in a tug of war. On the other end of the rope is the avoidant partner, slowly letting go, pulling away. Your instinct might be to yank harder, to hold on so the rope doesn't slip through your hands. But what happens if you let go? If you drop the rope, the game ends. And in that silence, they can no longer blame you. They're left with nothing but their own emptiness to face. Have you ever felt that? That moment when you finally let go, and suddenly there's a sense of relief? I call that the very first step toward emotional maturity. From a neuroscience perspective, we know that the urge to chase after rejection is really just your nervous system sounding the alarm. I'm about to be abandoned. I'm not safe. But when you resist that impulse, when you allow your body to experience silence without reacting, you're teaching your nervous system an invaluable lesson. I am still safe. I am still whole, even when someone else walks away. That's the foundation of true, lasting healing. And here's the key. The point isn't whether that person ever comes back. The point is that you come back to yourself. You redirect that energy into caring for your own well-being, into the things that actually nourish you. You learn how to find peace, even in the quiet. I've seen this shift countless times with my clients. After a period of holding their ground, staying calm, and not chasing, they no longer feel haunted by the avoidant partner. Instead, they begin to see clearly, I deserve a love that's mature, where we walk toward each other, not a dynamic where I run while the other runs away. And here's the hard but liberating truth. Avoidant partners often count on you slipping away quietly, because that allows them to avoid facing the reality that it's they who aren't ready. But if you hold your dignity, if you don't disappear out of weakness but instead walk away out of self-respect and self-love, you break that cycle once and for all. So I want you to ask yourself, what would shift in my life if I stopped trying to prove my worth to other people? If I believed I was enough, from the very beginning? Maybe just once, if you choose not to chase, you'll notice another door open. A door leading to deeper peace, to healthier relationships, to a stronger version of yourself. Rejection is not a final verdict. It's a redirection. And when you learn how to return to yourself, to care for yourself, to hold your peace even in the silence, you'll realize that real love has never abandoned you. It's been waiting just ahead, ready to meet you the moment you're strong enough to stop chasing what was never ready to give it. You know, sometimes after a stretch of silence they do come back. But remember, when they return, it doesn't always mean they've truly changed. More often than not, it's because they're lonely, or simply curious why you didn't react the way others usually did. This is the moment you need to be more clear-headed than ever. Because real strength isn't about making someone come back. Real strength is in your growth, in your healing, and in refusing to get pulled into the same emotional tug-of-war again and again. One of the fascinating things neuroscience teaches us is this. When you stop overreacting, you're actually retraining your nervous system. You're sending a powerful message. I am safe. I am in control. I don't have to panic just because someone walks away. That becomes the foundation for long-term healing. I remember one male client telling me that for the first time in his life, he felt peace by not chasing the avoidant partner who had left him. He said, I realized that silence was the clearest answer. They weren't ready. And I deserve a love that's more mature. That was a moment of freedom, because when you stop trying to decode the silence, silence itself becomes the answer. And I want you to remember this. A healthy relationship has never been built on chasing. It's not a race, it's not one person running while the other clings on. Real intimacy requires two people walking toward each other, building closeness in a balanced, wholehearted way. So ask yourself, do I want to be in a relationship where I'm always proving myself? Or do I want a love where we can both breathe, both feel free, and both grow together? Your answer to that question could change your entire life. So if you're in the middle of healing after rejection, know this. You are not alone. Millions of people have stood at this same crossroads, and many have chosen to turn back toward themselves. That is where strength lives. That is where freedom begins. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to hit like so more people can discover it too. And make sure to subscribe so you can join me in the upcoming videos, where together we'll keep turning wounds into growth and pain into strength. I'd also love to hear your story. Drop a comment below and share a moment when you let go of the emotional tug-of-war and what you learned from it. And as a little gift for you, check the description below. You'll find a link to download a free guide I wrote, created especially for those who want to better understand the avoidant attachment style, how they think, why they act the way they do, and more importantly, how they can build healthier connections. I truly believe it can be a valuable companion on your healing journey. Thank you for staying with me until the very end. Remember, you never need to chase love. Real love will always find you when you're ready. I'll see you in the next video.